What is up, you guys? Vac Attack here, and today we're going to be doing another test. This time, instead of a shark and Bissell, we're going to be comparing this Dyson DC07 to this Fantom Thunder. Now, these are both similar in their own ways because Fantoms were built by James Dyson. But then, when Fantom went bankrupt, Pro, which eventually became Shark, bought the Fantom name, and then Pro made their own spin-offs of Fantoms for a while until they eventually became Shark. So yeah, these machines are no longer available because the company went bankrupt, so these are pretty hard to find. These DC07s are still pretty common though. But you could technically say this is a newer counterpart of this, but not exactly because they are entirely different companies, but these were built by James Dyson, so, you know. Dyson kind of took over. That's kind of why, you know, Fantom went bankrupt. At least I'm sure. But correct me if I'm wrong. But anyways, aside from all that, we're going to be putting these two machines up against each other today because this Fantom Thunder cleans very well. But you would theoretically think that since the Dyson, you know, it's a Dyson and it's newer and it's a more known company, it should perform better, right? Well, that's what we're gonna find out. It is worth mentioning that this does have a clutch system, so it has a brushless shutoff. It is on the carpet setting, and it does have an automatic height adjustment, so it should go on the lowest setting possible. This Thunder has a standard belt. You can put Dirt Devil style 4 and 5 belts in here and it'll work just fine. Technically they use their own belt, but a Dirt Devil belt will work just fine. This does have a brand new belt in it, and it's on the low setting because the low setting, you know, works the best. Like I said though, it should be a fair comparison because theoretically this would run on the lowest setting it could go on anyways because it has an automatic height adjustment, at least theoretically. So yeah, this will be a pretty fun test. And like I said, these are kind of similar in some ways, but they do have their differences. So what we'll do is we'll run the DC07 first, and then the Fantom. It is worth mentioning, these are both, you know, more expensive machines. Like, the Fantom is not inexpensive. I'm pretty sure that this was like $300 or $400 back in the day, and so was this. So it's not like it's not like the Shark versus Bissell where, you know, the Bissell's like a $60, $70 machine and the Shark's like a $200 machine. No, these were pretty similar in prices, at least to my knowledge. They both have 12 amp motors, and yeah. So we'll start with the Dyson. There is a DC14 right there, but the DC14's clutch is kind of weird, so I'd at least rather use the DC07 since it has a good clutch. So we'll run the DC07 first, and then we'll run the Fantom Thunder afterwards. All right, here's the DC07. definitely not agitating as it should. Then again, that's probably just design. There's the Dyson. As you can see, I got pretty much everything. Oh, I need to get that area, actually. I think I forgot that in the last test I did. That area, I'm pretty sure I covered already. Let's see what it picked up. Okay, it got a good amount of fluff. It's not too bad. They got a good amount of fluff. See a little bit of fine dust, but not a whole lot. Man, okay. All right, now I will plug in the Fantom and we'll move on to that. All right, here's the Fantom Thunder. It is plugged in, and I did mention this thing has a new belt, so let's see what it does. Let's see if the Dyson left anything behind. That's much better. Cleaning performance is still going to be the same on this thing anyway, because it already digs deep into the carpet. So we'll see. Hear that, right? And you saw I went over this exact area with the Dyson very thoroughly. This is not looking good for the Dyson so far. This is on the medium setting too, like you saw me change it. right. There's the Thunder. Let's see what it picked up. Okay, so it's picked up a lot of hair. And look at all that fine dust. Look at all that fine dust. Now, granted, it's not nearly as bad as like a shark or like the new sharks, but still, this thing, wow, that is genuinely impressive. Like, I don't even know what to say. Credit where credit's due, that thing did pick up a good amount. But just look at that. The hair is one thing, but look at all that fine dust. Look at all that fine dust. And yes, I know I did run this on low at first, but then I changed it to medium. But quite frankly, it doesn't really make too much of a difference, at least for this thing. This thing still digs very deep into the carpet, and it just does a really good job at deep cleaning carpets. I would have thought that the DC07 would, you know, at least pick up more than it did, but I mean, granted, there's definitely worse. If I ran like a Shark Navigator ADV, there would be a lot more in here, but this is still a good amount. So it's safe to say that the Fantom is better. And that's supposed to be the more advanced machine too, because it has more features, it has the brush shut off and everything, but the Thunder just cleans better. So yeah, that concludes the verdict. The Fantom Thunder has won the battle. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. I will make sure to make more content. Please let me know what you want to see next for a video, and I'll see you next time. Peace.